So, ready?
Ready.
Let's go. And we're live with the fix, John Haddad. Live broadcast from Beirut, right? You're in Beirut right now.
We are. I'm in Beirut right now, man. Thank you for that nickname. I love it. I'm gonna use it.
Man, listen, when I watch your social media content, when I watch everything, I just think of my body getting fixed by coming to your place. And I cannot wait for this whole pandemic to be over because here's a funny little quick story for you starting off is the way I discovered you, John, is I have a lot of physical issues. I've had surgeries, I've had some injuries in the past. So every time I come down to Lebanon with my family, I try to look for doctors and people to see because Lebanon, for some reason, they're on top of it, man. A lot of people I've met there, they're really quite smart and good at what they do. But I never went to
Yeah.
someone like you. I started asking some friends in the martial arts community, some friends in Lebanon, and your name kept popping up, popping up. I check you out on social media, and you're like swinging that mace and doing that crazy shit. And I'm like, man, this is the guy. I was supposed to come down to Lebanon, but then this whole thing happened eventually. But I'm glad we get to talk to each other first before we. Before
You're welcome anytime you come down, man. You're welcome anytime you come down.
Habibi, I appreciate you.
Virus or no virus, you're welcome.
Man, and that's what I love about you. You're such a down to earth guy. You're so humble and you're available on social media. You know, you're not this business or this entity that's on social media that doesn't respond to people. You're very well engaged. And when I reached out to you, it's like, hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? You're so welcoming. It made me look forward to seeing you in person, man.
Thank you. I mean, I try to be myself as much as I can. I try to be myself.
Nah, that's the way.
You
That's the
know,
way.
that's the easiest thing. If you trying to act all the time, you know, you're not gonna live a happy life. So trying to be myself, my man.
I like that attitude about you, man. Before we got on the live stream, I noticed something very interesting. The glasses you're wearing, and I love them.
Yes.
They look
Thank
like
you. Thank you.
Harley Davidson meets evil mad scientist. And I need to know. I need to understand what's going on with the shades, man.
So these are blue blockers. I mean, that's the name that they got generically from the media. They're called blue blockers because they block blue light.
Okay.
But they're much more than this. So these are like therapeutic lenses.
Uh-huh.
So depending on the time of the day, you know, right now we live in a very artificially lit environment. We're on phones all the time. We're on laptops all the time. You know, we're working from screens all the time, and the screens have really, really harmful light that we're not supposed to be exposed to at certain times of the day.
Hmm.
Way back in the day, like our grandparents' day, they had that little light that used to be hung up on the, you know, it used to come down, dangle down from the ceiling, and this light was a full spectrum light. It gave all the colors.
Got you.
Right now, most of the screens that we're exposed to gives a very, very high level blue light,
Hmm.
and it's very harmful for us because blue light is only present during the day in nature,
Okay.
and it's present in a certain amount of percentage, and this is what keeps us awake during the day and keeps our cortisol levels high. So if we're exposed to that during the nighttime,
Hmm.
it doesn't it's not about the quantity of sleep or how fast you go to sleep. It's the quality of sleep. So it
Absolutely.
could lead to giving you bad recovery, for instance, like muscle recovery.
Mm.
It could lead to diabetes, certain health problems. There's a lot of health
Wow.
problems that are linked back to not sleeping properly or getting into that deep sleep state.
Fascinating.
So these glasses here are the orange lenses. They we call them the eves, and
Nice
they're
name.
made for, yeah, they're made for evening time, so I can stay up a little bit. They block
Okay.
all of the blue and a little bit of the green,
I get it.
and it, yeah, they're good for the evening time. So yeah, usually like at night, I wear the red ones,
Hmm.
and that puts you to sleep right away. It's not about the color of the lens; it's what spectrum of light they block.
So
So
when you're wearing these, are they also prescription glasses? Like, do you need them for eyesight as well?
I don't need them for
Okay,
eyesight.
so
No,
you
no,
just wear
these
them
are,
for this purpose.
yes.
Very
Our
cool.
company does provide, if anybody like wants prescription, they
What's your
do provide.
what's your company name?
It, it's called SIIZ Health. We just
SIIZ Health.
launched about a month ago.
Nice, man. Nice.
SIIZ Health.
Okay.
Yeah, it took a while because, you know, we had a little bit of problems in Lebanon,
Right.
and we had the coronavirus thing, the pandemic
Of
around the world.
course.
So it was a rocky start, but we eventually got out there, and it's going well.
Are you
It's going well.
manufactured in Lebanon as well?
We have the laboratory is in Lebanon.
Okay.
Our lab is in Lebanon, and we ship from here.
Very
Our
cool.
company is based in Canada, like the
Uh-huh.
original company is based in Canada,
Uh-huh.
but we do manufacture our lenses, and the lab is here in Lebanon.
Man, I love how proactive you are with this stuff. Like, you're not just, well, let me just do something. You're very involved, and the way you're describing the circadian rhythm, its effect on body and health, it gives us a preview to what we're about to get into and how connected to the human body you have become. And to add to what you're saying, I got into sleep health for the last couple of months, and I was reading a few books about it, and they were talking about human evolution. Whether you believe in like the Darwinian evolution theory or you believe in a different theory, it doesn't matter. We have evolved, one way or another. And throughout the
Most
evolution of life on Earth, every form of life has a wake cycle and a sleep cycle. And most forms of life started with a sleep. If sleep was bad for you, if sleep wasn't good for you, then we'd have evolved out of it. It's a state where we're paralyzed. It's a state where anything can creep up on us. It's a state where we're in the most vulnerable position, yet we maintained it through all of these years of evolution because of its power on the body. And things that fuck with sleep, we need to get the hell away from them. And that blue light, that effect, you're absolutely right. It's pivotal to you. Technology is accelerating. That train left a long time ago. We can't do shit to change that, right? I'm sitting in
of
front of,
course, definitely.
I got two monitors, I got a floodlight, a key light, and I got a side light. I'm screwed right now. So
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is. I mean, you can't put your TV off. I mean, you can't. It's this is life. You got to enjoy your life. You have a computer in your hands. It's
exactly,
basically,
exactly.
you have to enjoy it. You can't let away from all of this stuff. So we need to find ways to protect it.
I like companies like yours that provide a solution to continue living and enjoying technology, not going in a shell and going in a cave just to avoid it. You know, a lot of these people escaping it. I like living this life, but I want glasses like yours, so I'm definitely going to hook myself up.
Most definitely. Yalla, yalla. You're more
Habibi,
than
thank you
welcome, man.
very much, man. Thank you.
Most definitely.
I- I'm,
Most definitely.
I'm
Thank
excited. I'm excited. My wife as well. She's been talking about looking at a pair because she's on her phone, on the computer a lot.
you.
Uh,
Yeah.
excited about it, man. John, listen, as the more I get to know about you, the more I like Google about you, the more excited I got for this podcast because, man, at the first, this guy can fix people. And then I'm like, no, this guy's got a story. And then I see your picture of how you overcame the 190 kilos you said weight you had.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and just in my mind, I'm like, I can't wait for people to hear this podcast. So tell me a little bit about, before we get into the details, tell me why you got to the details. Like, what took you from 190 kilos to a guy that's specialized in the human body?
So man, I was not part of this industry at all. I totally came back from I used to be a jeweler back in the day. So
Whoa.
what happened was, I noticed that I was sitting a lot and I just wanted to start taking care of my health. My father went through some health issues, and I think that kind of like rang a bell for me that it's now or never. So I went on a strict diet, and I was able to lose the weight. There was the help of a dietitian, a close family friend of ours, who led me along the way, and was able to help me, achieve my goal. I actually lost more weight than I am now. I gained a little bit back, but I am happy with the result that I have today.
Yes.
It's better than I was before because it was a little
100%.
hard to maintain my weight before.
Okay.
So I lost a lot of weight. I lost around 100 kilos, and
Whoa.
I think I gained a little like 20 back. I'm not sure. I'm not on the scale, but
Wow.
that was over like a period of time. I gained it back, not like overnight or anything.
Around how
And
long?
I maintained a super healthy lifestyle, like extremely healthy, not not to a point where I become obsessed,
Right.
but I try to do as much as I can with staying like healthy and eating properly and moving daily, and not to a point where, oh my god, if I eat a piece of this I'm gonna die. No,
Sure.
I try to overcome this part
Sure.
because it became an obsession. And so this led me, when I lost the weight, it led me to venture into different parts of like the human body, and I wanted to do something with this. So I went back to college. I got a degree in nutrition, and then that took me into finding biomechanics. I started going to the United States and learning about the human body. I did a lot of seminars online, a lot of seminars in person,
Okay.
and I started learning more about the human body. And from there, I got introduced to a whole lot of very, very, very good people that mentored me and made me, shaped me into the person I am today with the brain that I have, into
Amazing.
noticing these things. And up until around 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I opened also a company with a very, very close friend of mine called Karim Mahmoud. He's half Egyptian, half Austrian.
Okay.
And he works in Germany. He's a osteopath and a physical therapist, and also a biomechanics. Like we call ourselves movement therapists.
Okay.
We opened a company that actually certifies people and teaches them,
Wow.
teaches rehabilitation specialists. Yeah, we teach rehabilitation specialists how to properly assess, treat, and correctively train the human body into
Unbelievable.
figuring out like the problems that it goes through.
Unbelievable.
And yeah, so that's also, now, with all the flight problems, it's also on hold. But
Yes.
we already ran a few seminars which went very well. They were completely sold out.
I'm excited to
And
talk about that too.
yeah.
Tell me, John.
um
Sorry to interrupt you, but this was a lot of information to decompress. But how many years are we talking from when you were 190 kilos until you lost that weight, and then until you became a biomechanics specialist and movement therapist?
year and a half to lose the weight.
Whoa! What?
Year and a half, yeah, year and a half.
I was expecting
Man,
like 5 years, 6 years.
no, there was not one day of cheating at all, like at
Woo!
all. A year and a half, I just went and I boom, 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 boom. That's it. It's just like,
Man.
yeah, I knocked it out, man. I knocked it out with that. And so I think that's why I gained some of the weight back, because there was like no fluctuation part
Sure, sure.
at all. And then that was like 2005, and in 2009, this is when I started getting into the industry. So
Okay.
actually 2008 is when I started getting into the industry. 2009 is when I opened Level 8 up,
Mm-hmm.
the center here in Beirut.
Mm-hmm.
And we started from the get-go with an approach to like a really scientific approach to training and fixing people with pain and problems.
That's unbelievable, man. And listen, before we talk about the people that you fixed, I want to talk about you a little bit, because I'm somebody who's also suffered from weight. Growing up, I was okay. I never really crossed that line until I had to do a spinal fusion surgery. All right, I had to fuse my lower vertebrae together, and it was
Sorry to hear
just,
about that.
yeah, it was a difficult time, and it was complicated. This was done to me when I was 15 years old. Probably not the best time to do that. But anyways, I ended up going through a depressive phase, and I gained a lot of weight. I got up to around 127 kilograms. So
Okay.
going through that
Good for you,
phase,
man. You're looking great.
thank you, Habibi, man. I appreciate you, dude. Like this is something that hits home with me talking to you, because I suffered from this and I felt the impact on my body. On top of the fact that I had a spine surgery, man, things felt slower. My breathing changed. My movement changed totally. Until today, I feel the effects of that weight gain that I had. So you went from 190 kilos to 90 in 1 year, man. Like the airports must have had fun with you. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, who's this person you're
Yeah,
showing me? So,
yeah, man. In the first few years, yeah. Now I changed my passport, so it's all
okay,
right.
okay. Now they recognize you. So, on a physical level, what was like the immediate shift and change you felt in your body?
Oh, you know what? Like you're talking about, you still feel some of it. I do too, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. Uh, I still deal with all the excess weight that I had on for most of my life. I still deal with it in my joints, and I
Mm,
try to overcome this on a daily basis. But like the immediate change was, man, it's like relief. It's like relief. I'm sure anybody has heard about, like anybody who's lost a few kilos knows that, oh man, I feel so
mm,
much better. I can sleep better. I can, breathe better, walk better, whatever it is that they're doing, any activity.
right.
And it's the same, man. Imagine like removing half of your weight. So it was the same. It's like, it's a it was a complete relief for me, like
Wow.
automatic relief for me. And I still feel this way, but I still feel the effects of this because of the excess weight for so long.
Hmm.
My joints kind of compressed together a little bit.
Okay.
And so I have like a loss of range of motion in a lot of my movement that I do.
Hmm.
And I try to rehabilitate this on a daily basis. And because of the way the human body is put together.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, like, if you don't have a good range of motion in your arm, you can't just expect to fix it from here. That's not the way it works. The
Okay.
human body doesn't work this way. So my joints, because of the way they were stacked and because of the excess weight and
The
is
load.
always holding, they have to adapt. And
Wow.
so they adapted to this. And now, it doesn't just say, okay, you finished from it, let me go back to normal again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I try to fix that on a daily basis, whether it's the knees, the ankles, they all lost range of motion. It started from the ankles, knees, hips, back, shoulders, they all lost a certain range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
But, thankfully, I will never stop, and I never get frustrated from this,
Right.
because even if it's a small centimeter of benefit that I'm getting,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on it. And I'm still,
Absolutely.
I'm never going to stop.
You got to look forward. You can't look back. And that's how I had to look that way as well for myself. Like a lot of doctors, there was a mistake in my surgery, and they basically injured the nerve that runs down to my right leg. So I have muscular atrophy, and I don't feel much on my right leg. So yes, man. So it was a mess. So basically, the doctors were saying I can't do sports, I can't do this, I can't do that. Lo and behold, 2005, now it's 2020. I compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I fight. I'm a purple belt. I'm proud of what I can do with my body, considering everything.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
Everything's possible. You can be 190 and become 90 kilos, a biomechanics specialist treating and healing people. You can be a person with a spinal fusion at the age of 15, 16, and then become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. It's just, the body is a beautiful adapting machine. It can work with you, but you need to work with it first, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And that's the message I want to sort of try to portray in today's podcast. One thing right before, I want to give a clickbait for people to check out your social media, and this is a compliment to you. So here's the thing. I noticed this about people who've been overweight at a younger part of their life and for a long period of time. All right? We got the best calves, man. All right, this is something that's undeniable. And when I see your videos and you're swinging the mace and you're doing this, I'm looking, I'm like, man, you got the calves that guys dream of. And I noticed, do you think that the excess weight, obviously, and the repetitions every day of pulling that weight causes the person to have that kind of calf definition and size?
Man, I think so. I was never lazy, even as like overweight. I was never lazy. I always played sports. I played American football in high school. I played basketball with my city in the United States. I always competed. I did a little bit of boxing back in the United States. When I got back here, I also did a little bit. I was always active. I was never lazy throughout my whole year. So I think that also. I think if you are lazy, yes, you won't have that much of a definition. If you're overweight and lazy, your muscles, the build of your body will become different.
True.
The whole build of your body will become different. Your pelvis formation will become different. Everything will become different. But I was never like a lazy person. It was just the habits of, like, my eating habits were they just sucked. That's it. Plain and simple.
That was it. Yeah. And it has a lot to do, I think, like, you grew up in Beirut?
I grew up in the United States.
In the United States, which state?
Up until 16 in California, Los Angeles.
Wow, nice. Okay, cool. So
yeah.
You felt like the lifestyle there, or like just the accessibility to these kind of like satiating foods, let's say, well, not satiating, but insulin craving foods got you to that point?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was like, yeah. I mean, at that time, you're still a little kid. You don't really make a lot of the choices. But I mean, all of this good stuff was present there. So, you're going to eat it. If nobody hits you on your hand and tells you, hey, this is not good for you, or educates you to that fact, you're just going to take it. And that's not disrespecting my parents by all means. They were very healthy eaters.
Absolutely.
But we had access to money, and we had access to shitty foods, and that's how we did it.
Yeah, I totally relate. That's exactly how it worked with me. That's how the cookie crumbled, literally. So
yeah, exactly.
But thankfully, like, I force myself, and now I see it as a superpower to look at the positive, because from this I got to learn a lot more than a person would earlier in my life. I went through the hardship of weight gain. I went through the hardship of surgery and injury. Appreciation for the body, appreciation for moving. There's people that they feel like they can move fine, and they're not overweight, so they're like, man, I'm good. And they don't really take extra efforts to protect and harness that body. But once you've gone through that pain early in your life, you're like, man, let me take care of it. And I'm happy. I consider myself young. I'm 33 years old, and I'm thinking very deeply about my body right now, you know? So it's a blessing. For you, going into biomechanics, you lost weight. What made you go biomechanics? Like, why not just weight loss, nutrition, help people lose weight? Why really repair the body?
Man, so when I first opened Level 8, it was half nutrition, half training. And because a lot of the people that are overweight have problems, they like, if you're overweight, you're gonna have some kind of tingling somewhere happening. And nobody can tell me no about this. I mean, people who are regular weight have these problems. So when we started bringing in these people here and I started noticing this, I kind of switched to a rehabilitative kind of training. And now we call this movement therapy. Like, it's evolved into movement therapy around 6-7 years ago. But at that time, it was a rehabilitative training, like an approach to make sure that we fix you as we train you, you know, and that evolved and evolved and evolved. And yeah, and obviously I don't do the nutrition thing anymore. I'm out of that field because there's just so much stuff that you need to keep up to date with, and I'm not up to date with that at all. And so I do not do any of that stuff at all anymore. And I kind of stopped like from the year one. I just do the biomechanics stuff.
Makes sense, man. And that's the thing. You touch on a very sensitive point when it comes to health and fitness, sports conditioning. Is that every year new things come out and we realize how little we knew the year before about how the body works. How do you feel as a person involved in this industry with such a specialized focus like biomechanics? How do you feel about the updating process? Are you always in touch with what's new, what's going on? What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. I always follow like the big scientists and what they discover, what they look through. Absolutely, this is something that you have to keep up to date with. The human body is extremely complex, but it doesn't have to be. Like, you don't need to make it that complex to actually fix the body. You know, if you start off with a certain point and then you start progressing that person slowly, it doesn't have to be that complex. It is a complex being. You know, we are complex beings. We are extremely complex, especially because there's this thing here, the brain.
Yes.
That's like no other organism in the world.
Yes.
So we have this thing and it controls our body. Once we understand how to use this, the rest comes.
Amazing.
The rest comes easy.
Amazing.
The rest comes easy.
I want to get into biomechanics, but in order to get into it, we need to first understand what it is. So for us mere mortals, what is biomechanics? If you can give it to us in a sort of nutshell form.
Most definitely. So biomechanics can be something as simple as moving your finger to running a sprint. So anything that has to do with movement is considered biomechanics. So if you have a pain in your shoulder every time you lift your arm up, that would be a biomechanical problem in your shoulder. Okay, so if it could be fixed by us, then we would locate the problem, allocate the problem, and then we would go ahead and fix it. And it goes all the way into biomechanics optimization, which would be optimizing your biomechanics, obviously, like the word states. And that would be like, you look at the way you run, and then we say we need to add on. We need to make you faster. So how do we do that? We try to find where you're losing time. What is your body doing? And then we try to fix it from there, which takes a lot more time than fixing a shoulder problem.
I'm sure it is, because there's a lot more elements. But I mean, like, that's basically biomechanical engineering to the extent.
Exactly.
I like that, man. And I love that approach, because I have this frustration on a day-to-day basis almost. It's, you talk to people, and when a guy sits down with me and he's like, man, did you see that car? It's got this many horsepower. It's got that kind of differential, this suspension, this, it does that, it does this. I'm like, cool, man. How does your body digest food? No idea. What happens when your body moves? No idea. What's in your knee? No idea. It's like, fuck, like, you know everything about this car. Give me one thing about your body, man. This is what's you're gonna put that in the car. Don't you want to know? Like, so, and that's the thing. I'm excited about these kind of conversations, because more awareness leads to, like, it's a door. It's the Matrix, blue pill, red pill. You can continue with your blue pill, or you take the red pill with John, the fix Haddad, and then understand that your body could be so much more. So now that we understand what biomechanics is, can you tell me how this differs from physiotherapy?
Oh, absolutely. So
Okay.
physical therapy, we actually, I think that we complete physical therapy in a way. Physical therapy rehabilitates the body. So physical therapy, like if you have a problem, let's say in your lower back, they have their techniques to fix the lower back.
Mm-hmm.
With us, we're called movement therapists. So we fix the body through movement and not through like manual work.
Got you.
So what we did, myself, and Kareem, is we completed each other, because he does the manual work, he teaches the manual work, and he assesses the manual, like where the manual work should be done, and then I do the movement part.
So it's a combination of ultrasound and all of this, and then movement.
It's the best of both worlds, man. Because if you have should I start to go in a little bit?
Let's go, man. Let's go.
So, okay, if you have a certain problem, like let's say we assess you and you have a certain injury, you come to me and you say, I have lower back pain. Okay, so we assess you, we look at your body, we say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you have these muscles that are tight, these muscles that are loose, this muscle that's da da da, this muscle that's da da da.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we start off by manipulating the parts that need to be manipulated, and then training those in the proper way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you have two muscles, your whole body consists of the same muscle on the right and the left.
Okay.
Okay. So they're always, because we're unilateral movers and we use one hand more than the other, or we use one leg more than the other, we're always going to have some kind of asymmetry.
An
when
imbalance.
Those asymmetries, exactly.
Okay.
We're always going to have this. If this imbalance becomes big, accompanied with a stressor, we're going to have a chronic injury. Okay, so I'll talk about stressors in a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, stressor doesn't mean if somebody is nagging on you,
yes,
or whatever. It could be excess training also. That's
yes,
a stressor.
Interesting.
Your body doesn't recover enough. So what we do is we look at the tight muscle. We release that tight muscle. We correctively stretch that tight muscle, and then we reconnect the brain to the muscles via a corrective exercise, which we call neuromuscular association. So basically you're reconnecting the brain to that muscle to understand how it should function again, because we are born with a muscle that's supposed to do a certain function.
Yes.
But it can also do other functions. So if, let's say, that you lose a function of this muscle, or you overuse it,
yes,
and then some other function, like, because let's say your pec, okay, this is what the pec does, horizontal arm abduction, right?
Yes.
And let's say the pec gets tired. There's something else in the body that's going to take its place to continue doing this.
Hypercompensation.
And it could be the biceps.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we call compensation. So if you compensate too much, that's when the injury comes in. And then your tendons start to tear, and then you have inflammation. It starts off with inflammation, then it starts off to tear, and then you get into a whole world of hurt.
So first you have to diagnose and allocate where the root is, and that's usually the more complicated part, I believe.
That is, I mean, in the beginning it was complicated. Now it's not so much anymore, because right, I mean, you become experienced in what you do. So we look for the problems. We have devised a system where we put the person through certain movements that we can figure out where his compensations are coming from, and where the tight muscles are, where we should start. It takes around 20 minutes to half an hour with this person as a consultation, and then we start from there. And most of our clients that come in, and I'm saying this with all the humbleness in the world, leave pain-free within the first session. It doesn't mean that they're fixed in the first session. It doesn't mean that that's it.
Absolutely.
There's no abracadabra. But at least we know from the first session, if they are pain-free, that we are on the right track to fixing this person. So we have hit the right target.
Yeah, and I like that and I appreciate that because I treat my body like another individual and I have a conversation with my body. Sometimes I think my body's pissed off at me, right? So I think what you're doing is basically the body's like, finally somebody's listening. You know, somebody can understand my language. Okay. I'm feeling pain here, man. And then you guys, you treat it. So I like what you're saying about the combination between manual and then the movement portion because the movement portion, I guess, is the reps. It's where you train your mind and body how to work with each other again in the correct way, rather than the way it's developed the bad habits, right?
Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly.
So, can you tell me a little bit about our society, our life day to day, that is leading us down the wrong connection between the brain and the body?
Absolutely, man. I mean, look, so I would never ever tell a person don't work out, okay? Even if they had a problem, because our life now is coming more and more about sitting down, and we're becoming more of a sedentary lifestyle,
Yes.
and we're sitting down a lot, and we're becoming lazier. Our new generations are even becoming more and more lazy,
Absolutely.
and this is a problem that's we're gonna face in the upcoming world. So I would never, me as a person, I would never tell a person don't train if they're doing a squat and their knee caves in a little bit. That's, do they should they fix this? Absolutely.
Hmm.
But do they know how to fix this, or do they know that they're having a problem? No.
Right.
Until there's a problem, until there's a ouch, ouch, ouch,
Hmm.
then then the problem, has to be fixed. But if they don't know that there's a problem there,
Hmm.
then let them go train. Let them go enjoy movement, enjoy their bodies, figure out their bodies. Movement is the most beautiful thing in the world. Let them enjoy it. Not everything has to be done correctly.
I get you.
Nature is not perfect.
I
Not
get
nature
you.
is not perfect, man. You get a tree that's 1,000 years old. That's it
Deformed
has a
and
million crooked branches inside.
mm.
Nature is not, it's not correct. But if you do it too many times, you will face pain, which is correctable.
Yes.
But if you do not listen to your body, because pain is a marker for the body, it tells you,
All right.
ouch, I'm hurting, don't continue to do this, or something else bigger is going to happen. If you don't listen to your body and you ignore it because you took painkillers, or you're on
Mm-hmm.
autopilot and you
Mm-hmm.
want to reach a certain competition,
Mm-hmm.
then your bigger problem will happen.
You're in
And
trouble.
of course, with age, the problem becomes harder to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And the more health problems you have,
Yes.
the harder the problem is to fix also.
Yes.
So
I
it's one big circle, man. It's either a vicious circle or a beautiful circle. It's what you decided to,
perfectly
you
said.
decide to make it.
Perfectly said, John. The circle, and that's the scary part, and that's the thing that keeps people in it. One is sometimes it hurts their head to get into it, and they feel like, why am I complicating this? Let me just take it easy and let me move, like you're saying. But a problem I have, John, is that the world we live in is a capitalism world. It's like it's based on commerce, and commerce wants to sell, and they use psychological tactics to target people. So people want to be fit, healthy, and look better. So my worry sometimes is for the people who are active, sometimes more than the people who are inactive these days, because you go to a gym and you see a single linear movement gym machine, right? That's not movement. That's a machine forcing you to move in an angle. You're trusting that manufacturer to engineer how your body should move, and that's not necessarily movement.
Perfectly said, man. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. That's perfectly said.
So it terrifies
Definitely.
me, man, because there's people that are active that go to the gym 5 days a week that are doing more damage to themselves than a person sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, like, I come from a background where I totally connect with you, and I'm so excited to talk to you because I know this is a hurting point, and I know this is a hurting point that so many people don't know they're hurting from, right? They're living their lives thinking, I went to the gym today, check that mark on my wall, I did it, I'm getting better. But no, man. Learn, understand, open that door, understand that gym, what you do in it is more important than going to it. Which machine you choose could really dictate what happens to your body. But on that perspective, where do you lean when it comes to physical exercise? Is it the CrossFit? Is it the body weight movements? Is it like where are you leaning?
Okay, let me. I'm gonna rephrase a very famous quote that one of the gurus said.
Okay.
One of the gurus in our industry said, he said, the more complex the machine, the less complex the body. So in terms of movement, I would say let the person do what they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let the person do what they enjoy. If they want to play basketball, let them go play basketball. If they want to go for a walk, let
Yes.
them go for a walk. If they want to go for a run, let them go for a run. If they want to play, I don't know, tennis, let them play tennis. It should be, activity should be fun. It shouldn't be a chore. If it's
Okay.
a chore, you're gonna stop doing it sooner or later because you're paying money to go to this gym, and you know it's taking time from your day to go to this gym.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be a chore. I'm not here to knock any kind of movement out
Sure.
of the door, but at the end of the day, like the machines, even real bodybuilders don't
Mm-hmm.
use machines to build their muscles. They
Right.
use free weights.
Yes.
The machines were made for people who are older, that want to make sure that their muscles don't get atrophied
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is. But if they go for a walk, they
Mm-hmm.
can actually make their whole muscular system work a
Yes.
lot more than just sitting on a machine and working in an isolated
100%.
move. So yeah, I mean, of course. The problem is the gyms become so big. They put 3-4 trainers in this gym.
Mm-hmm.
They those 3-4 trainers are getting paid a certain amount of money. They can't keep eyes on 50 people inside of the on the floor.
Yes.
And when they become that many, it's going to be a hassle to be able to contain them all.
Mm-hmm.
And those gyms, the gyms that you're talking about, we have some gyms here in Lebanon. They're here to make money.
Yes.
Those gyms. That's what their thing. They hire good trainers.
Mm-hmm.
They hire this, but the trainers, they just don't have the time to be able to see
Yes.
each and every person who's training.
And they themselves want to make money too.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, man. Of course.
That's the scary part, because the trainer wants to make money, and in order to do that, he needs to expedite results, because that gets them more clients. And sometimes they shortcut, sometimes they do a cookie cutter program for everybody and force them into a specific movement, which might not suit the tall guy, which might not suit the short guy, and then end up with a generation of screwed up bodies because we wanted to get fit.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
It's terrifying. It is terrifying, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because there's a growing industry like yours. There are people like you out there that you can actually go to, and you don't have to live in level 8 center. You don't have to live with these people. You just need to get their guidance, right? Just to understand what we should be doing based on our body. First, you assess me. You look at what's wrong, what's good, what's not, and then you will kind of guide me on what I should be doing. Is that how it works?
Absolutely. So what we do here actually in level 8
Mm-hmm.
is we train the person, but by all means, like, we do not keep the people here. We don't want the people here for a long time. We do not have anybody rely on us.
Mm-hmm.
I want the person to leave from here a little more educated,
Mm-hmm.
pain-free,
Mm-hmm.
to understand what he should be doing to continue his physical exercise. Whatever it is that he enjoys doing. Hopefully that he's doing his physical exercise with what he enjoys. He's not doing it as a chore. So
Yes.
whatever this person comes in with, we don't want to leave them here. I don't want this person to stay here. It's bad for business, I'll be honest with you. And it's harder to keep getting new clients in.
Of course.
But I don't want the person here. This is the way I made my business. It was never about, I didn't make this business ever about the money. I always made it about becoming a better person.
Yes.
And about making sure that this industry keeps growing.
Yes.
And making it a little bit more difficult for people that want to make money to make money.
I like that. And that's how you end up making money in life. Because, John, I tell you honestly, there's nobody I talk to in Lebanon, when I talk about physical movement therapy, your name kept popping up. And that's because of
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Your actions speak louder than your words, because what you're saying, I already knew. And because of everybody, they know that when they go to you, they're in good hands. And the guy that's with them is not trying to, because some places that you can go to can end up being monotonous and feel like you're just being put through a conveyor belt. And then you end up relying on them. And the second you miss out on a week or two, your body starts, oh shit, oh no, I don't know what to do. I'm not quite sure. Should I do those 10 rounds of like squeeze my belly and let go? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I wanted to touch up on 3 topics before getting into grappling, because I want to pick your brain on grappling. So,
all right, man. I don't know how I don't know how much my brain's gonna let you know, but I'm ready, man.
I got some
I'm
good
breaking down
questions
the
for you.
biomechanics of it. Yalla.
Exactly. I consider this an exercise for you, right? So, um, three topics I want to touch on biomechanics first. First is age and body, right? We have this war between our age and our bodies, especially as grapplers, as fighters. We consider age to be something that's like a fleeting thing. And we have a prime. I'm at my prime, and then it's gonna fade away, and all of this. What's your feeling towards that relationship? Is it a doomy, like it's all gonna end soon, or doesn't have to be that way?
No, absolutely not. We did a TEDx talk a couple of years ago in Beirut University here. It
Okay.
was me and Kareem, my partner in SIIZ.
Hmm. I saw that
And
one.
we actually, yeah, did you? We touched upon that topic that
Mm.
age is just a number. It doesn't mean. But what you're doing now is like you're saving money in the bank. What you do to your body today is like
Mm.
saving money in the bank for later on.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing. If you destroy your body today, you're not going to find it, doing well at 60 years old. If you destroy your body today, whether it is excessive sitting or excessive wrong movements or excessive whatever it is,
Yes.
you need your body to be functioning at the age of 60 and 70. So yeah, it's you're investing in your body on a daily basis, investing in your body. And something I want to add to this is
Hmm.
investing in your brain, because your body doesn't do anything without your brain.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, uh, this is the resounding message that we hear is investing in yourself, investing in your training. But that's again goes back to that last point we were talking about, which is some people get proactive, they get lost in a sea of information, and we end up not knowing what to do. And now especially there's a new industry booming, the whole stem cell, the hormone therapy, right? Giving us this hope that by injecting a bunch of stem cells into our knee, we're going to fix everything that went wrong while not fixing the root problem, which is how we've been walking and treating our knee, right? And that is where it scares me. I'm somebody who has a body that's been through a lot already, and I'd like to keep it functional for a very long period of time. I'm of the mindset like this, and I think a lot of the old school jiu-jitsu guys, they influence me. You keep training, you keep powering through, all right. And sometimes I do mean powering through injury, but you just adopt this tough mindset, and you feel like your body stays tough. When I take a break for 2-3 months, man, I start feeling pain. I start feeling aches and joints, and coming back becomes super difficult. It takes longer for me to get back on the mats in good shape. My cardio's shit, and my body, my joints are aching. What is it that's happening? Why is it the case that we're going through this?
It could be a few things, but something
Okay.
that pops to mind, and it could be that you're not actually giving your body enough time to actually tell you something. You're not letting your body whisper to you. You're not hearing the whisper that it tells you on a daily basis.
Okay.
And it could be that when you give your body that break of a month, let's say, it's
Mm.
just telling you, khod. Like I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this for so long.
Yes.
You finally gave it to me.
I
and
see.
and it's yeah, it could be like this, and it could be also, there's a lot of other things that influence the muscular system other than just movement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something, it could be what you're going through in like your daily lifestyle. if
Stress.
you if you say, okay, I want to stop. Exactly. If you say, okay, I want to stop for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't eat properly, you don't get, because we need movement every day. And so if you sit down at some form of movement, it could be just walking, but we need
Right.
it.
Right.
If you sit down for 2 weeks and you're in front of a computer screen for most of the day, and you don't get any sunlight for most of the day,
Mm.
and your eating habits become bad, of course you're going to feel all those aches and pains. You took your body from the most optimum place it was
Movement. Yeah.
to the shittiest place it was.
Exactly.
So your body is going to tell you it's not happy.
Yeah.
It's going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome to
going to tell you.
coronavirus. That's basically this is what we're going through, man. Because like every man, forget me. There's the coaches. There's the guys that do their living is made from Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It shocks the hell out of me. These guys are doing jiu-jitsu from the morning till the night. Then they finish their job doing jiu-jitsu, and then they do their jiu-jitsu 6 days a week. I'm looking at them like, fuck. Like, that's an example of not letting your body whisper anything. You muted your body for life. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because there's this play, and I want to ask you. You see how life expectancy is going up, right? Life expectancy around the
definitely.
world has gone up. Do you feel like life quality has gone up?
Absolutely not, man. Thank you for big pharma that life expectancy is going up. Like
Mm.
I don't think we're getting any healthier as a humans. I don't
Hmm.
think we're getting healthier. I do, however, think that there's a lot of people that are waking up more and more.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just because the internet shows us these people, and I'm surrounded with these people, like by these like-minded individuals.
Sure.
But I don't see, like, this pandemic showed us a lot of stuff about how bad we are in terms of like health wise, in terms of being human beings. And
Hmm.
I'm not talking about the death toll or anything like this. I'm just talking about how a simple virus like this kept the whole world at home.
Yes.
uh
Yes.
it should tell us something, man. It should tell us something about how we're living our lives, and what we should be doing.
Mm.
And you know uh I don't think we're getting any healthier, no. But
Mm.
I mean, I'm gonna talk about this, even though I'm going off subject a little bit.
Please, man. Yeah.
Big pharma makes money from people living long, unhealthy lives.
Yeah, because they can get more receipts that way. Like they can sell more.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. You know, if you live a long, healthy life, you're
Very
bad,
true.
and if you die
Wow.
at the age of 30, it's bad for business.
Yes.
You know, it's that's the way it is. They want you to live till 80
Mm.
and be taking blood pressure medicine from when you're 35.
Yep. Yep. They want you in an almost vegetative state. That's perfect. As long as you're alive and they need to keep pumping you up with stuff, that's
Yeah,
the money.
man, yeah.
Man, it's
Diabetes
terrifying.
sets in. It is terrifying. You know, it becomes the norm. And we also talked about this in the TEDx talk, but we didn't talk about this. We talked about people's pains.
Yes.
So it becomes the norm that at the age of 30, you start, I'm 30, it's okay. You know, I have a little bit of back pain. Or at
Mm.
the age of 40, oh, a little bit of shoulder pain. Or at the age of, I don't know what. These have become norms in our lives. You know, all the women after the age of 45,
Mm.
my shoulders hurt, I'm going for a surgery. What the
Wow.
hell is wrong with you, man?
Self-fulfilling
No,
prophecy or
you don't need a surgery, dude. Like,
mm.
no, it's not. It's just they, like, their lifestyle, our lifestyles have led us down this path of, it becomes an expected. Like, they don't think about that there's something wrong.
Wow.
We didn't evolve to becoming this complex of organisms for us to be having surgeries at the age of 45.
Yes.
It's impossible. You know, we should be thinking about where did we go wrong, you know, going backwards and saying, what did we do wrong
Yes.
in our
Yes.
life, you know.
Man, it's a huge way of thinking that's just I hope people start adopting this mentality because there's so much more to gain than there is to lose, right? People look at it and wallahi, I'm going to spend a lot of time researching this. I'm going to get a little lost. But man, if you just dip and get 10% more than you had before, you're going to be better for it. And that 10% might add 3 years, not of life, of quality of life. They keep talking about adding 8 years
Absolutely.
of life. Man, I don't want 8 years of life if I'm screwed. I want 2 more years of life moving happily. That I want. I'm sold, but not 8 years of miserable life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Um,
Agreed.
I
Agreed with you.
I heard you did this live stream to do with not breathing. You did something with food and stuff. I wanted to ask you about breathing and motion. So obviously these two, we need oxygen to stay alive. We need oxygen to feed the blood, to pump into the muscles. What is the relationship we have between breathing and motion? How can we improve our performance as athletes with breathing? Like what can we do? Yoga? What is the right practice?
Oh man, you know, this is a big one. You know, to be honest with you, breathing is the first and most fundamental movement of biomechanics. It's the first thing that we need to do. And if you're stressed, the first thing that gets messed up in your body is not your back, it's not your shoulders, it's not your heart rate, it's not anything that it's your breathing rhythm. And
Wow.
it's more your heart rate variables. It's like how your heart is synchronized with your breath. And that's the first thing that gets messed up when you're stressed, or when you're not stressed, that's the first thing that gets fixed. So it's not that your back pain goes if you become happy again.
Mm,
It's your breath becomes better, and as
makes
it
sense.
goes into, and it starts to fix you.
Wow.
So we do have a parasympathetic and a sympathetic nervous system. And And our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight,
Mm-hmm.
and our parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and repair.
Okay.
We need to be able to get into both easily, but we should not be getting into the parasympathetic nervous system, like into parasympathetic mode, into fight or flight mode when we're not in a fight or flight mode situation.
Like watching a
So
movie?
this, unfortunately, like watching a movie or thinking about the coronavirus,
oh wow,
this made the world what it is today, but it also made us overthink things that we shouldn't be overthinking.
Wow.
And
it affects our breathing.
You know, this is the curse everybody has. I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you, you know, I'm the Zen master of the world. No, absolutely not, you know.
Sure.
But it does affect our breathing.
But you're working on it.
I do. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think meditation helps a lot.
Okay.
And there's a lot of forms of yoga that's great out there. There's different breathing techniques. There's a very, very good book that I recommend everybody to read.
Okay.
It's called The Oxygen Advantage.
The Oxygen Advantage.
The Oxygen Advantage.
Okay.
And it's a book that teaches you how to rebreathe from your nose. And that mouth breathing is extremely bad for you because it is a sign of stressing. So even if you're training, like if you get to a point where you start to breathe from your mouth, you should stop.
Wow.
Close your mouth.
Wow.
Breathe from your nose and then start over again. And so this makes your recovery a lot faster. It makes a lot of things a lot faster. So this is when you're training. I'm not talking about competition time.
Yes.
Those 5 minutes during competition, you can open any hole that lets in air.
Yes.
Who cares? It's 5 minutes. But training is supposed to make you better. It's supposed to make you fitter. It's supposed to make you, you know, and it's training. You're doing it on a daily basis for 2 hours every day.
Right.
You're not supposed to get stressed. You're not supposed to get that association of stress. It really makes it hard for you to recover, your muscles to recover if you're breathing the wrong way. It makes you get faster. It makes you get tired faster.
Okay.
There's a lot of things linked to this. And one of the things that I go back to is the stress that it's involved, because training is a stress. It could be a good stress or it could be a bad stress. It's how you treat it.
Yes.
So breathing from the Oxygen Advantage cannot put it in better words. It's not a very long book.
Okay.
It's actually around yay thick. And it's there's certain like trainings that it gives you throughout the book. So it's not just philosophy of breathing.
Sure, exercises.
There's certain things that it shows you to do. Exercises. And I think that book is one of the like the essentials in any library of any athlete.
I like that. I'm pun intended. I'm gonna inhale this book, but I mean, you touch on a very nice point. An athlete's library. Books, man, that's been something that's huge for me in sports, not just like other things and technical things. For sports, there's so many people out there writing really good books, like that book you're talking about, sports psychology books, movement therapy books, and there's so much information out there, like you're saying, and it's just reaching out and grabbing it.
Exactly.
On the breathing and motion perspective, you see a lot of people training martial arts and combat, and there's a legend in jiu-jitsu. His name is Rickson Gracie. So what he does is diaphragmic breathing, right? He activates his diaphragm, and he's legendary for his cardio. He's gone into crazy fights in history and stuff like that. So basically, is there a protocol that we should be using while fighting to prepare ourselves for the fight and during a fight? Like, is there different breathing techniques before and after?
I know Rickson Gracie, and I've seen what he does with his navel. He goes all the way in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So naturally, your body, as you breathe in, your diaphragm expands and your belly comes out. And when you breathe out, your belly goes in. And I know the Gracies were extremely, extremely strict with their diets. So to be able to go that far in, that guy has been training for such a long time. And I'm pretty sure that his diet is on point. Like there's nothing in those stomach. There's nothing left in the intestines. There's no residue whatsoever. The person just is extremely good. I mean, you know what? being mentally prepared for a fight is extremely important.
Mm.
One of the greats that I always used to watch was Fedor,
Mm.
and how calm he was going into the fight. And I think it's about how what you are like how you're help me with my English. شخصية.
With your
شكراً.
personality.
Your personality is,
Mm.
if you're a calm guy, then you calm yourself down. If you're a guy that needs to tear shit up, then you need to go crazy
Mm.
before the fight.
Sure.
But I think, so going back to the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system,
Yes.
your inhalation is directly linked to the sympathetic nervous system, so to your fight or flight. So that's
Mm.
why when, like, if somebody throws some cold water on you, you go you go in. Or
Yeah.
that's why when you get startled, you go
Yeah.
or if like you're scared or something, your shoulders pop up like this and you start over breathing, and you
So
actually
true.
take in more air than you let out.
Mm.
And your parasympathetic nervous system is directly linked to the exhalation. So exhaling more than you inhale is what you should be doing to calm yourself down before anything that that you're going to get stressful.
Exhaling
So
more than you inhaling, like breathing out and then inhaling shallower.
not shallower. It doesn't mean shallower. It means, like, let's say you do like a 4-second inhale and
Mm-hmm.
an 8-second exhale.
Interesting.
Controlling your
Yes, yes.
exhale, because a
Slowing
lot
it
of
down.
us do not control the exhale. We
صح.
just go,
Yeah.
that's it, out. And this is a form of stress. Your body is not happy when it does this. So controlling the exhale, consciously controlling the exhale, puts you in that state where like 5 minutes of that a day is like you're good to go. So I think that before competition could be beneficial for some of the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
It calms you down. This is what we do before we put our people in, like before I put my clients into the ice bath for the first time.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
before,
Nice advice.
we do 5 minutes of that, and then they continue that kind of breathing all the way through the ice. And as they come out of the ice, they continue that form of breathing. So their body, we kind of trick the body into thinking that there's no stressor, so they
Right.
get the benefits of the cold. So it's the same thing. You're just calming the brain.
Sure.
The breathing tricks the brain into thinking
Yes.
everything is okay.
Man, that's unbelievable, because like recently I watched a couple of Wim Hof videos. You know Wim Hof, the Iceman?
Yeah, he's the man, bro.
Yeah.
He's
And
amazing.
it's exactly what you're saying. He the first thing he does with people before taking them out on the like excursion and walking through the mountains is breathing. And he does this
Yeah.
crazy breathing practice. Then they go out and like, it's not so bad. And what you're saying now makes perfect sense.
We've had four Wim Hof instructors come and spend a lot of time with us here in the center.
I love it. Nice, nice, man.
Yeah.
I definitely that's on the bucket list to try for me. You said something very interesting. You said when we're scared, we breathe differently, and it changes our posture. There's something that I read before, and I never really got deep into it, but it's interesting. Can you fool your body to functioning better by pretending to stand in a certain way?
Man, maybe if you do it for a longer period of time, it could be. Like, I've read a lot of books about it, and I haven't dug.
You don't practice
Like,
this.
I don't know. I haven't dove into that practice.
Okay.
I've read a lot of books about it, and I think it could be possible that, yes, why not? Because there are postures that are linked to certain, like, if you see a certain, like, it's not the posture you're in,
Yes.
but if you want to scare somebody, what do? You internally rotate the arms, and you kind of do this big, like,
Yeah.
There are postures that are linked to certain emotions, let's call them.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure you can overcome it in a way or not, but I'm not an expert in that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just interested in that, because I found just to share this with you is this mindset that we only believe in what we see, right? You tell your hand to move, you see it move, you believe in the power of your brain to move your hand. But if you tell your body internally to do something, you don't see it. Does it happen? Does it not happen? Like, this is something that really interests me, and I can't wait till science takes us to the point where we can understand what happens when you think of something internally. Like, oh man, I'm worried this is happening to me. I'm worried of suffering from this kind of disease or that. Is your body getting the memo? Like, is somebody listening that shouldn't be listening right now? I'm so curious about this.
I'm pretty sure it is, man. I'm pretty
Hey,
sure it
I
is.
don't. I'm terrified of that, dude.
You know, I'm 100% sure all of the viewers and everybody's going to listen to this
Right?
podcast has Googled a
Yeah,
certain thing they felt in the middle of the night. You
exactly.
know, I have a numerous times, and I'm not doing it ever again in my life. You know, I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure. And you know,
Oh,
like
it's a shit
you're
show.
thinking, oh shit, am I gonna die right now, or what the hell's gonna happen to me? You know, and
Exactly.
man, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You know what? I went to a biohacker summit a couple years ago in Stockholm, Sweden,
Okay.
uh, and I bought this device, which will basically it's like it covers your
Uh
ears,
huh.
it's noise cancellation, and it covers your eyes, and it has like some kind of therapeutic light into your ears and your eyes. But the interesting thing that it links into an app, and 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 it has these exercises for, let's say you want to lose weight, you want to meditate, you have knee pain, you have whatever it is, and it's basically a guy who has this amazing Morgan Freeman type voice,
Perfect.
and this guy is talking to you. And what it is basically is I stopped using it. I
Sure.
stopped using the device because it's linked to Bluetooth, and I don't want Bluetooth going to my head.
Okay.
And so I stopped using this device because, but basically the guy the whole time is he's talking to you, and he's like, now think of your breath, and you like open your chest, open your lungs. So you start thinking about it because there's no distractions because your eyes are closed
Yep.
and your ears are closed. There's basically no distraction at all. And now think of that breath going towards your knee. You actually feel like a tingling in the knee, which is weird.
Wow.
It's not, I know it's not a placebo effect, and
Yeah.
it's not, I mean,
No, I'm sure
I
it's
I have
not.
no, yeah, I have no idea. That it's weird. It's weird. And they have this
So
little like
cool.
teeny weeny like music in the background playing, and this guy's voice, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty cool device.
I mean, have you ever tried a flotation tank?
Of course, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of like you eliminate senses to heighten others, and it kind of it plays that effect. You start feeling things that you wouldn't feel outside. You start thinking in a way that you wouldn't think outside. So it shows you this like whole balance. You see people who've gone through injuries in their sight or smell or hearing, and they find
yeah,
they just like muscles, right? You get injured in your pec, your shoulder starts compensating. So you get injured in your sense of smell, something else is going to start compensating, right? And it's just, I'm so fascinated by the human body. I love talking to people like you because I feel like it's. My guest yesterday was talking about showering daily and motivation. Like motivation should be considered as a shower. You shower to clean your body. You should shower yourself in motivation on a daily basis. I
absolutely.
I like to shower my brain daily as well on what the body can do. And what you're talking about just it puts a light on so many important topics. Before going into a little bit deeper on the grappling side, I want to ask you about performance enhancement. This is a big issue in MMA scene, in the grappling scene. On a personal side, there's a lot of people that recreationally almost enhance performance because they want to aesthetically please themselves, right? What kind of damage? I don't want to be biased. It might be doing good for the bodies. I just want to talk to somebody who's a movement specialist, right, like yourself, on have you had any experience with people who have tested or played with these kind of hormone therapies or performance enhancements? And what is your opinion of their impact on the body?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have had people who have, went on certain cycles and have done this stuff. For me, I don't recommend it at all. I mean, I'm more of a sustainable type guy. You want something to be able to
Yes,
I want the body, even if it's an athlete, I want the body to be able to be okay at 40, not to be able to, not to always have to use a certain drug or whatever it is, even after they stop. Because, you might be making $1 million right now, but
hmm
what's your body going to be? Are you going to enjoy that spending that $1 million when you're 40 years old? Or
yeah,
are you going to be going from doctor to doctor because your hormones are all jacked
and
up
spending that
and you
money.
can't fix them? Yeah. Or do you have to take this pill for the rest of your life? And any pill in the world has side effects, man. You
Yeah.
can't tell me no. Any pill in the world has side effects. So what is that side effect going to be after 20 years of, you know, taking it on a daily basis? What's
Mm,
that thing going to do to you, or the injections, or
sure,
whatever else
sure.
form they are? What are they going to do to you? I'm more of a sustainable type person, thinking about how to let the body develop the right way. You know what I mean?
Got you.
The right way.
The way it was
And
designed.
and and yeah, I think there is a lot of uh, uh, a lot of unfairness in with the USADA. I think they are they're kind of bullies to certain people, and to certain people they're not. This
Sure.
is my personal
In
take
what way?
on it.
What do you mean by that? Like, how do they
I mean,
bully somebody?
I think they go after certain people more than they go after other people.
Mm,
I think we've seen a
exactly.
lot in the MMA scene. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot in the
John
MMA
Jones,
scene.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And however, I do think that there should be some form of testing for everything.
Sure.
For any how much does the testing, how accurate is the testing, and
Mm,
because I've read all the John Jones articles about
mm.
what he took before, and that he didn't take anything like this, and it could test positive if he's taken this form of thing, which is legal, in perspective to what USADA lets you do. I don't know, man. I
Sure.
don't know. Like it's a weird conversation,
Mm.
and I would not. I mean, I go 100% like sustainable,
I
and
agree
I've
with you.
trained a lot of athletes in my life,
Mm.
and most of them have stayed completely sustainable, and we've been able to endure a lot of performance
Hmm.
and a lot of like competitions, and they performed at the highest level they could.
That's a perfect way to look at it, man, because a lot of people look at the short-term gain, and I even think on the short-term side there might not be a lot of gain, but the sustainability. We're looking too short-sighted. A lot of these people
Exactly,
in the fitness
exactly.
industry, they want to get that six-pack quick, and it's like they're not even grappling, they're not even fighting, they're just working out to look good on the beach, and it's like you take shit that's gonna fuck you up for the rest of your life just to look good. You're not even grappling, you're not even making money. That's terrifying in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so, jiu-jitsu. How much do you know about jiu-jitsu? First of all, I'm sure you've worked with grapplers. I've seen clearly.
Yeah. I've worked with grapplers. I grappled a little bit myself. I
Uh
mean,
huh.
not a lot.
Okay.
Very little.
Okay.
I didn't even get my first stripe on white belts.
But you've done
But
jiu-jitsu.
I
Perfect.
have done a few classes. I have a
Okay.
lot of very good friends who are high level jujitsu practitioners.
Yes.
Actually, a good friend of mine, which I wrote you about, named Stevie,
Mm,
out in Florida. He's one of my closest friends. Came to spend a lot of time with us here in Lebanon,
right.
and he does also what we do, and he is one of the best when it comes to mesas and clubs and stuff like that.
Wow.
He is just a genius. Like, he's amazing. Yeah, I've done a little bit.
Okay.
I haven't done a lot, but I've worked and I know the
Okay.
biomechanics of, and I saw
Perfect.
some of the questions on the Instagram, of people that's
Yeah.
so yalla shoot.
We're all in pain, man. We're all in pain. We need your help, bro. Fix us. Listen, so right off the bat, I want to discuss something that's like bring it into awareness to grapplers that might not be actively aware of it. They definitely feel it. Jiu-jitsu, I would say 80% of your time, you're in a hunched forward, hands and elbows close to your knees position. So your posterior chain is extended, is stretched out, and your anterior chain is shortening, right? Like the inside is short, the outside is overextended. And 80% of our games there, guard, closed guard, even guard passing. If you want to guard pass somebody properly, you have to get your head low, you have to stay pinned down, so you're not really stretching straight and standing up. The only time I know we're straight is when somebody is on top of us in mountain. We're screwed, or we're trying to bridge. So this over posterior chain extension, what does that do to the body? Is that the reason why we're all in back pain and having these problems?
So, man, you said it extremely perfectly. So most of pain, or when our body tells us that we're in pain, okay,
Okay.
that sensation is due to an overuse of that muscle. And
Mhm.
when I say overuse, I'm not talking about shortening. I'm talking about a lengthening of that muscle.
Okay.
Most most pain, okay? Now,
Hmm.
the lower back is a very delicate place because there's a lot of different muscles that go there.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of different muscles that attach to the lower back, that overlap in the lower back region.
Okay.
But most of the pain that we are dealing with, like, I can say this and be very confident of saying, like, most of it, like I'm talking about 90% of the time, comes from an overstretching or overuse of that muscle. So it's an indicator that to your body that, hey, chill. All
Yes.
right. So like we said, if I'm gonna give you some pain, If you don't listen to me, I'm going to put you in bed for a couple of days. If you don't listen to me, I'm going to put you in bed for a couple of weeks. That's your body talking to you. Now you listen to it, or you do something to get out of that pain. And getting out of that pain is not as simple as just stretching the opposite side, but it could.
Okay.
But it is in a kind of way. So depending on where your pain is, like, is it one-sided? Is it two-sided? Is it right smack in the middle? Is it on the top of is it in the lower back, or is it in the middle of the back, or is it on the higher portion of the back? So if it's on the lower back, can you stretch these areas and, open them up? Yeah, maybe it could help. I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
But when it becomes a little more complex when it's one-sided and it goes a little bit higher, that becomes a little more complex, because then you're dealing with other stuff. There's no antagonist muscle here. You have rib cages here. I mean, that you have your diaphragm, and you have your rectus abdominis, and you have portions of your obliques, and you have other muscles that insert here.
Yes.
But it's not like the hip area where you have your hip flexor complex and you have a lot of muscle that could be released and stretched in that area and probably give you immediate relief.
Okay.
However, yes, being in that position for a long time might cause pain, and I would recommend, and this is coming back from like people who have done high-level jiu-jitsu, they are on a rehabilitative program every single day. And I'm not going to say rehabilitative, I'm going to say prehab program every single day, where they fix the body before going in. You know that you're going to overuse this portion of your body going into jiu-jitsu. So foam rolling, releasing the front portions of the body would be excellent. I mean, you said it in a perfect way, to be honest with you, Zaid. Like, perfect. You said, like, the posterior chain is overstretching, and the anterior chain is being crushed and shortened. So open this up before you go into jiu-jitsu. This way you have like a kind of a balance. I mean, this is something that we can just say generically to everybody, to the masses.
Yes.
But of course, you
case
can
by
go
case.
Of course, but generically, it would be amazing not to foam roll the area that hurts. To foam roll the opposite area.
Huge, where everybody's on their back. Fuck, porra. And then it's like, turn around.
So let me tell you what it is. There's the fascial system that overlaps the muscular system, the fascia, the soft tissue.
Yes.
And your fascia, when you release or you put pressure on a certain area in that fascia, you're giving a signal to the brain saying, I need more elongation in that area. So does foam rolling give you does it send out signals that I need more fluids in this area? Absolutely. But these fluids can do so much to you over this period of time. But it also gives a signal that I need more elongation in this area. So you're actually causing more harm in the long run than you are not. These areas here are the part to release.
The hip flexors.
Your hip flexor complex, your TFL, your psoas, your iliacus, maybe a little bit of your rectus abdominis, to open up that whole area. Open up that whole area, doing some stretches for those areas.
My God.
Bit by bit would be perfect.
John, I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna advertise it as a public service announcement for the jiu-jitsu community, because you don't know the amount of guys I see rolling their backs and not their hip flexors. Shit, I'm one of them.
It gives a form of like,
relief.
It's nice, it's whatever it is, but you're actually causing more, damage. Even if you get that little, you get like a cane. There's a lot of stuff online that you can buy for. My faster release tools are all over the place now. Wow. There's a lot of stuff that you can get that helps you release these areas.
Wow.
That will give you relief, man. I think a lot faster than if you do it the other way.
So we're talking hip flexors, we're talking like quads. Which muscles would we be talking about here?
Okay, so your quads are actually in jiu-jitsu. They are also, I think, stretching. Your hip flexors are actually your hip flexors are shortening. Your quads I
Well,
mean,
your abdominals are shortening as well, right?
abdominals are shortening. Your hip flexors need to be released. I'm talking TFL, iliacus, definitely the psoas. That whole area, like your abdominal area, you have your psoas that comes from the lower portion of the thoracic spine, like it links from the, let's just say, the lower back to the femur.
Yeah.
There's two muscles
Yeah.
that link there. Those need to be released. And then you have your iliacus, which is on your pelvis. That needs to be released. And you have your TFL, which is like where you put your gun. That needs to be released.
All foam rollers and like tennis balls and stuff.
Yeah, tennis balls. I mean, you guys are fighters, so you can use something a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Than a tennis ball, you know.
Happily,
Yeah.
happily. I've got this. What do you think of the hypervolt guns? Like, you know, these guns that like percussion massage.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool. It's a little bit hard to kind of relax. You need to be a little bit relaxed when you're doing the myofascial release.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to relax when you have something going, you know, over your head. Yeah. I mean, it does the job, absolutely does the job, but I don't think like you could relax with that kind of thing, you know.
Very true.
Bugging on you all the time.
But tell me something, John. Hello, this is something that I have extensive experience with, which is discs and spine issues. And I have so many questions. I'm sure you saw on Instagram. Bro, 90% of the questions were spine related. But so here's the thing. I know that there's grapplers out there with herniated discs left and right, but they're almost pain-free. And they're shredded. They're very physically conditioned. They do a lot of physiotherapy. They do a lot of strength and conditioning. So where is that balance? Like, here's an example I'll tell you. I got a friend of mine. He does jiu-jitsu. Amazing guy. Very good jiu-jitsu. And now he's suffering from back pain. He goes to a doctor. He does an MRI. And the typical doctor approach, doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu or movement. And he's been on a chair himself most of his life. Tells him, you've got 1, 2, 3 discs. You need a surgery. What do you say to this guy?
Man, how bad is the pain? I mean, I look, surgery usually, first of all, which country is this in?
This is the UAE.
And are they over there? Well, I mean, I don't know, man, but because like, how bad is the pain? How much has the pain, how much has those vertebrae actually closed up? Is the nerve actually impinged? Has it been impinged for a long time?
Mm-hmm. He's suffering basically from sciatic pain down to his right leg, so there's definitely nerve impingement.
For how long? And how bad? Like, is he limping?
Yes, he's limping. He's having difficulty walking. He's getting a lot of pain on his back. So it definitely feels like one of these issues. But is there something physical that he can do, non-surgical, to fix this?
So for it to get to that point, that means he did not listen to his body for a very long time.
Okay.
For it to get to the point where, because the nerve doesn't just, you know, get impinged overnight. You don't lose, your nerve doesn't start giving you pain overnight. It starts as lower back pain, lower back pain, lower back pain for a very long time. And then it starts ass a little bit, your ass starts to tingle. Then it starts to go lower and lower and lower and lower and lower.
Right.
And still at that time, you don't start limping. Why? Because your muscle memory is still there.
Yes.
Fast forward a couple months, you start to limp. Why? Because you start to lose sensation in your legs.
Wow. And
the pain starts becoming longer and longer. And of course, I think this would be a recipe for a operation, because the therapy won't be fast enough to get this guy back to normal. And there's a big risk of the nerve dying, which would mean he would not feel the leg for the rest of his life, and he would probably limp for the rest of his life. So right now they will go in, they will free the nerve, and he'll get the feeling back in a little time. And so I definitely think that, you know, those are extreme cases. In my 11 years, I've had one client walk into me into the center here where I had to send away into the emergency room because they walked in like this, where they, you know, I don't know what the person goes through that they can endure that much pain and not actually go see somebody beforehand.
Welcome to the Jiu-Jitsu community.
Yeah. And so, I'm pretty sure they endured a lot of pain before they, you know, they said, you know, that the body doesn't just do this overnight.
Sure.
Unless there's something extremely traumatic happening to you, like a car accident, or you know, you have a crazy fall or something like that. But
Right.
Yeah, a chronic pain like that doesn't just come overnight.
So, on a lighter case where you don't have these kind of symptoms, but you display discs on an MRI, is this something that's corrective? This is something that can be fixed, or like just.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, the disc is just it doesn't have to cause you symptoms.
mm,
I can have a herniated disc. I don't know,
mm.
but it's not causing me any pain.
And it doesn't
There's
mean
a
you have
lot
to
of
do something about it medically.
no, absolutely not. I mean,
Mm,
when it starts, giving you problems, you need to think about it. But
yes.
if I don't do an MRI, how do I know I have a disc? I mean, why would I put myself through those kinds of magnetic fields
Yes.
for nothing?
Yes.
Unless I suffer some kind of problem or something else, then
Ah,
I would need to do it. But who knows? There could be people living that have, and this is something that I tell all my clients. I can tell them that your posture and what you have is giving you back pain. I can bring in the same person that has the exact same things that you have that can have knee pain. It
mm.
doesn't have to mean back pain. It could be something else.
Interesting. Okay.
The pain is just the area suffering from the whole kinetic chain having a problem. It's not
Mm.
that actual problem it's not that area that's causing you these problems. There's a
Yes.
whole disconnect in the kinetic chain that's causing the problems.
I see. I see. Okay, man, good. I'm sure if he's listening, he's gonna be really happy to get this kind of like understanding from you. So I really appreciate that, John. I wanted to ask
Please.
you now. There's a lot of guys that are coaches, black belts that listen to this podcast. They run academies. They have gyms. They're concerned about their students, right? We're always extending our posterior chain. We're always in positions where we're compressed. Now we're doing all this new jiu-jitsu, new age stuff where we're even screwing our bodies up even more. What do you recommend as a warm-up routine in a gym? Like, what should, in your opinion, every martial arts academy do as a warm-up? Is it jumping jacks? Is it this typical stuff? Or do you have an idea?
I would actually so jujitsu is a full body workout
Mm.
every single day of the week.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I remember you've put memes about it, and I've seen memes about also like your toenail hurting you, after jujitsu practice.
Yeah.
So I think a form of prehab would be really beneficial. You go to big MMA academies in the United States, and you see all the professional fighters sitting there on a foam roller before they start practice, and doing like certain stretches and stuff, like corrective stretches and things like this beforehand.
How
And I
soon? How
think this
soon
is
beforehand are we talking? Like right before?
right away, like
Mm.
like half an hour before, like they get into the gym, and they put the ball on the floor, they put the foam roller, they put the stick, and they start working with it, and they start doing this and this and this. And I think this should be implemented with the coaches. The coaches should get in every day and say,
Mm.
okay, sit on your hip flexor today, let's release your hip flexor, let's stretch your hip flexors. And then any form of work, I mean of a warm up is great. There's no one warm up that has to be done.
Gets the
I
blood
mean, I
flowing.
think
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think anything, but for me, and I still do this till today. We always do some form of MFR or stretching before we start. Most people do the stretching after they finish,
Ah, yes.
but after you finish, you've already stretched your whole body. Your whole muscular system has already gone as a workout. So
Mhm.
why would you do the stretching after you finish? I would do the stretching before to start getting the muscles prepared for what's coming.
I have had this complete opposite mindset. Whereas if you stretch before, you weaken the muscle by elongating it, so it cannot have this tight contraction.
But you do a corrective stretch. Corrective stretch means you're actually stretching a muscle and contracting the antagonist muscle. So you're not doing a stretch per se,
Okay.
and it's not like you're just going, let me touch the floor, and your hamstrings is stretching. No, you're telling the pelvis what to do. You're telling your quadriceps what to do. You're telling a lot of other muscles that are directly linked to the hamstrings what to do.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's a great form of getting the body prepared for what's coming next. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Uh, um,
Is
and I still implement this daily with my clients, with my athletes. Even I still implement this always with them.
Very cool. And for everybody listening, when he said MFR, that's myofascial release, you mean?
Exactly. Excuse me. Yes.
So
My
that's
fashion.
that's the foam roller, that's the tennis ball, and certain points to release the tension on the fascia, so that the body can send all that good stuff to elongate the muscle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. So another point, I'm seeing some questions coming in, and I'm like looking at them on the side to try to satisfy people's
Oh,
curiosity.
I don't
Yeah,
see them here, right?
I know. So, a question that was being asked, which is, what daily exercise would you recommend people to adopt that you find gives you the most bang for buck in terms of what it does for your body? Is there one exercise that comes to mind?
Jiu-jitsu. I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
baby. Let's go. Maybe not, but yeah, I appreciate the
man,
gesture.
you know, that's a really hard question to answer, man.
Mm,
I most of the exercises we implement are full body workouts all the time. There's not like a certain muscle group that we attack or
mhm,
that we focus on this one day or this one day or this one day.
mhm.
It's full body workout. So anything that has to do a full body workout and you enjoy, again, I always tell the people, even if it's you enjoy playing basketball, you don't need to go to a gym. If you
Mm,
like walking on the beach,
mhm.
you don't need to go to a gym. The gyms are there for the people that cannot, they can't find 3-on-3 to play basketball. I'd rather play basketball every day than actually lift any kind of kettlebell in my whole life, to be
Okay.
honest with you. But it's hard to get 6 people every day to play with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. I get you.
so yeah, I mean, whatever. Movement is extremely important. And is there one form of movement that I would recommend? No, but get people off their asses. That's
Nice answer.
extremely important.
Nice answer. I like that, man. And that's the thing. Like, I just, it's freeing to hear you talk about this, and I hope people get out of this mindset of gym, linear weight, dumbbell, all this. Like, this is the key to healthy. It's not. It's almost the key to not healthy life, and you can injure yourself more than help. Like you said, find something that makes you happy, because when you're lifting weights, if you're pissed off to be at that gym and you're having to take a pre-workout just to get through your workout, your body's not thanking you, man. Your body's like, you fucker, man. What are you doing to me? Like, fuck off. Leave the gym,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Your body wants you to be happy, to smile, to laugh, to joke with friends while moving. That's why I love jiu-jitsu, right? Okay, it has some negative effects, so we have to correct them. There's some sports that don't have that high impact, like basketball, not on a professional level, maybe less impact. Swimming, for example, is even great for you rather than an impact sport.
But I think jiu-jitsu actually has way more positive than the negatives. And
Okay,
the negatives can be reversed extremely easily. They can be
nice.
reversed. Is just, yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to be the my friend Stevie, he man, I don't know the names of I know that you're not supposed to pronounce, some of the letters in Brazilian and
Okay,
Portuguese, but so I'm not going to even attempt to name the academy that he trains at. But they have a lot of black belts, a lot of brown belts, and a lot of stuff. He gives some trainings there, for the people, and he rarely has any form of ouch or each or whatever it is, unless he goes like to competition, or unless he falls or slips or does
sure.
something. But he rarely has any form. He doesn't have any form of any pains at all. Like he never says, "Oh, my knee hurts today" or this.
Right,
Why? Because he spends a good portion of his day.
rehabbing.
He trains jiu-jitsu twice a day. I mean, now obviously not
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
the pandemic, but he trains jiu-jitsu twice a day, and he spends as much time getting ready for those classes.
Wow,
Getting ready for those classes. So
it's
I think it's
huge.
important that we try to find that balance between getting ready for our training and then just going. And there's also something I want to add.
Please.
Today, when we sit down and we work in an office, or we work from home, or whatever it is, we're
Mm.
sitting down. So where our movement level is at zero.
Mm.
When we go to jiu-jitsu class, our movement starts to jump to 100 right away.
Yes.
So if we don't gradually move, our bodies are like, okay, it adapted to being not moving, and then you're like, boom,
Wow.
you startle the hell out of it, and
Wow.
that fascial system is not happy. You need to ease into it, ease into it, ease into it. So Obviously, like some form of movement during the day, some form of something during the day as you start to prepare to keep that body moving. That way,
Yes.
when you get into your exercise regimen, you get it's a lot easier to ease into it.
Man, this is enormous in terms of value, and I really appreciate you breaking it down that way. Wow, like I've been training, I don't know how many years jiu-jitsu, and I've never had this kind of awareness to for the prehab, first of all, for the myofascial release before jiu-jitsu, not after, and not the posterior chain. Like, so many revelations right now from John the Fix, and I really appreciate you, because it's unbelievable. Like, we do this to get better, and then we start having this mixed feeling. A lot of people are like, oh man, I'm thinking of quitting jiu-jitsu because it's harming my body, and then they go into that sedentary lifestyle, which is also going to harm their body. And most of us in the UAE, I'm one of them. I'm not a professional fighter. I'm not a like hardcore competitor. I'm a person who just loves it and trains almost like it's my job. But I do go from 0 to 100. You're so right. And I feel like this definitely plays a role. I sit, I do this, I'm on the computer, and then suddenly I get in a car, I drive 45 minutes to get to jiu-jitsu. I do a couple of warm-up movements and stuff, and then I get started. It's crazy. It like I feel like shit, I need to fix a lot of things after this conversation.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like some form of routine during the day where you move a little bit also would definitely help, and
Yes.
not just waiting for that class to come and in the evening time and go, and and you rely on this to get your movement throughout the day, where you should be moving slowly, throughout the whole day.
Yeah, yeah. And this is just something that I really hope resonates with people, because we all suffer from these pains and problems because of that. I'm taking a look quickly just to do justice for the people on Instagram that sent some messages. I'm going to pick some randomly. Um, so we talked about the best warm up for jiu-jitsu. There was a very interesting one talking about the knees. Um, okay,
That was probably Zach. That's probably Zahi.
No, it was Alushi. Okay, so Alushi says, sometimes friction on the mat causes the knees to have slight change in direction. What do you do to recover? So it's high impact on the mats. You sometimes land really hard on your knees. Sometimes you're trying to shift and pivot, and the knees, the kneecaps almost, it feels, or the meniscus starts getting some wear and tear. So any recommendations on knee prehab?
Oh man, so like, oh, like traumatic, huh?
Mm.
Um, this is interesting question. So the knee is placed in between your femur and your tibia, right? It's
Hmm.
those two make up the knee, and then you have the kneecap above it, the patella that goes above it. And so, man, that's actually an interesting question, because you're getting impact, and so no form of stretching or release is going to actually help the impact. You got to probably I would release the muscles around it, like surrounding it,
Hmm.
and surrounding that area, and depending on your body type, I would say like which areas you should focus on more.
Hmm.
And man, and like for trauma, I don't know, like ice the hell out of them. I don't know,
Ice,
like
yeah, man.
it's you. I would release no matter what, because even trauma would get your muscles to cringe up a little bit.
Okay.
So I would do definitely some kind of release, but doesn't mean it's going to remove that traumatic
Of
impact
course
that you
not.
got. Like, you can't release the knee. You
Yeah.
can't. You don't. You should not. Absolutely. Big disclaimer in bright red.
Hmm.
Do not put any form of ball on your knee or anything like that.
Good
Like,
to
do
know.
not. Like,
Good to know.
yeah.
And off the top of my head, I would advise Alushi to maybe wear a knee pad. You know, these like volleyball pads that sometimes if they're
Oh, like the wrestling one
yeah,
for the
exactly.
wrestling.
Because if they're impacting that much and it's hurting them, then just wear it for a couple of months until the knee heals, and then you can go back to normal, right?
There you go, man.
So hopefully
Absolutely.
that
Why
helps.
not?
I have a question, a nice question here, very unique one. So, separation of the abdominal muscles. I think this is caused by pregnancy, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, maybe caused by pregnancy, and then they recovered from it. Can it be healed without surgery, like through movement therapy and
Oh,
such?
oh, of course, man. Of course. I mean, sir, I think surgery. If if the woman didn't have a C-section and was already cut up, and then the body has its own ways to recover.
But if a
That I
C-section,
think, yeah, the surgeries are always unnatural. There is no scars. I mean, there are scars, but there's no what you would call it, stitches. There's no stitches in nature. You don't, like, if when the lions fight in nature, one of them gets bloodied up, he goes to the side, he waits for his things to heal, and that's how your fascia comes back to normal. When you stitch up, your fascia doesn't reconnect the way it should be. And that's why if you've ever had like a surgery and you get stitched up, that area doesn't move as the other area does. Like you touch it, it's kind of solid. It moves all together. Look, instead of like moving like your skin here or something else.
Right.
And the thing is, I think now with our world that we live in, is we want something to happen quickly. And with pregnancy, they need to give it time. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world. You know, time will fix it up and it will heal them, and it will get them back to their normal body type. Absolutely.
I hope so. Is there some mobility that she should be focused on that will help with that whole separation and maybe the physical feeling she's getting out of it?
I'm never gonna say an isolated movement in my life. That will never come out of my mouth. So I would always focus on a complete body movement, and not focus on like doing abs or whatever it is, because the body is interlinked with each other, and that will get better through full body movement. It's just the time, like they have to be dedicated with nutrition, movement, and it has to happen on a regular basis, regular basis. And the same amount of time it took them to get pregnant and the belly to come out at 9 months, one of the most beautiful things we have in life. It'll take that equal amount of time for that to go with their dedication to,
I get you.
Being proper, because a lot of women, they kind of like when they get pregnant, I think, and they kind of take that as okay, since I'm getting big, let me overeat and eat junk food, even if they were already healthy. And that does not help the recovery period of the thing.
So true, man. I love how you say that you don't like to isolate and have one exercise. It's refreshing, and it doesn't have to be complicated, like you're saying. It doesn't have to be a one-trick pony that gets everything solved. It's the whole body. Get it moving, get it working so that it can synchronize again.
Yeah. Lifestyle, man.
Yeah,
lifestyle.
That's something we always say. The jiu-jitsu lifestyle is staying active, staying moving. One more. Let me see real quick. So, can a generally stiff person attain flexibility, and to what extent? So, I know this guy. He has he's had a bunch of injuries, shoulder injuries, and a few things happen to him, and he's like quite stiff. Can't move. He doesn't have the range of motion that you'd expect from a person. Yeah. Okay.
I talked about that in the beginning, like because of my being overweight. Yeah. I mean, definitely. It's the amount of time you want to dedicate into your life to actually getting that flexibility back.
So it's a dedication issue, not an impossibility. It's simply a matter of dedicating.
Absolutely not. You can turn anything around.
I love it.
It's just a. But dedication, I'm not talking about. I mean, depending on why he is, he has that mobility problem. I know my problem, and I know that I was overweight for around 25 years of my life, and so that's not going to just turn around and doing 1 month of dedicated stretches. It's not going to work, But absolutely, you can turn anything around. It's just how much time are you willing to spend to do this?
Got you.
And also to touch on a point very important, age is a big role here, and quality. Okay, let's not say age. I think then we'll be kind of contradicting ourselves. Let's just say quality of the muscle and fascia play a big role here.
Okay.
So how good are your muscle and fascia? How well hydrated are they? Hydrated doesn't mean only this. It means also light, stress, and all of this hydrates the muscles. So how well hydrated are they? how much does he move on a regular basis without focusing just on stretching.
Oh,
All of this plays a role on how much time he needs to spend doing his stretches
right.
to get that mobility back. But there's nothing impossible to do.
I love
Nothing.
that. I love that. I hope you're listening, man, and I hope this gives you a little bit of peace of mind. It's just a matter of, getting to it. It's your body. You want to live a long life. You want to move. You want to play with your kids. Just do it. Like it's something to me that it's a must. It should be mandatory. Our schools, man, to go on a tangent, they don't prepare us for this shit, dude. Like our
No, they
education
don't.
system, like accounting, finance, physics, calculus, they don't teach us about how our body works at all.
They don't. They don't. My daughter is 7 years old now, and she's in school here in Lebanon.
Mm,
And unfortunately, the school she goes to a good school. We're happy with the education system that they're
mm.
providing. But unfortunately, their sports and extracurricular activities are close to none because they don't have the real estate for it. Like they don't have the area to
Hmm.
to be able to provide them with these playgrounds and this stuff. And it's kind of sad to see this, that all of these kids, these generations are going to grow up without having this, being able to try to play track and field or to
Yeah.
perform in some kind of sport. And this, because they spend most of their time at school, I think that's super important for them. There's not many schools in Lebanon that have this. There's a few of them, that have these
True.
areas where they could, and I think that should be a mandatory for every single school. They should not give them a permit to open a school unless they provide these areas with places for to kids to have some kind of activity in sport.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, man. It's sad. It's sad to see us focus more on one muscle of the body, the brain, not the rest. We gotta balance shit out too. It's
Of course.
I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful that with the prevalence of this kind of format, these kind of conversations, because something that draws people away is the formal approach of people talking about science. And to take a note out of somebody that I consider a role model in this space, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan to me is a Cristiano Ronaldo to a football player, right? A football player gets into football because they watch Cristiano Ronaldo. I got into podcasting and this format because of Joe Rogan. You see how impactful he is on a lot of people's lives by the informal atmosphere he creates with sophisticated people, allowing your average person to chime in as they're jogging, shopping, doing and absorbing information that they otherwise would never even bother going for. And people like you live a complex life. It's not every person that knows what you're talking about at all. And I'm glad we get to have this sit down, and I really appreciate your time. It's so valuable to have a person like you talk to
Thank
us.
you, Zay.
And Jed,
This was beautiful, man. Thank you
I'm
very
I'm
much.
so happy.
I
I'm so
watch a
happy.
lot of Joe Rogan's podcasts too. A lot. I watch a lot of them, and you're absolutely right. Like he brings people in from all over, and it's like yeah. And to be honest with you, you have done a great job
Thank
with
you,
all
brother.
of the people you put on the podcast.
Thank you,
You're the one who makes this possible. Like you ask all the right questions,
Habibi, man. I
and
appreciate you.
it's amazing. You've made it extremely easy. You made it extremely easy, and it was very, very fun.
That means
It
the
was very.
world to me. That means my purpose is to shine a light on you. It's not. It's because there's so many people like you in our region that 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 I hope more people hear from, because it's talent. It's the future. It's the generation that's going to help us pass it down, pass the baton to the future, to help them not grow up with painful bodies, like that typical cliche of the Arab 45 years old. ظهري. خلاص, like we
Eh,
can we can get past that shit, man. We have the
yeah.
technology in house. We don't got to go to Germany anymore, right? We got this here. You can get your ass fixed in Beirut. You can get your ass fixed in Abu Dhabi. It's just you need to open the door and take that red pill and like, discover. That's it. So I hope people get that. How do people reach you? How do they find out about you? How do they buy your glasses? Tell me, man. I want to know. Like, how should people contact you?
So we for the glasses we have a website,
Mm,
and our company is located in Canada.
okay.
However, we do make the glasses here in Lebanon. Our laboratory is here in Lebanon,
Okay.
and our website is www.siizhealth.com, and SIIZ is SIIZ and health.com,
Okay.
and they can buy the glasses through there.
Done.
And for level 8, we're not open right now for the time being, but we are giving classes online
I
and
love that.
teaching trainers online.
Uh-huh.
So they can get in contact with me either by through Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, I'm gonna have all of his
And,
Instagram details on the description below this YouTube video. You can tap it right now.
yeah,
If you just tap description, you'll see it, and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yes.
yeah. And for our my other company where we certify,
Yes.
if things go back to normal and we start seeing planes up in the sky again,
Okay.
then we will have we hopefully will have a course sometime very soon. We got off schedule big time
Uh-huh.
with this, so we need to reassess once things start opening up again.
Understandable,
But
man.
it's called SIIZG.health. SIIZG is SYZYGY.health.
Okay, cool. And just something for everybody with you is on the contact side for level 8 fitness center. This whole pandemic time kind of opened up new doors and horizons for this industry, for health and fitness and for therapeutic industries. I like that you're starting to do online. Now you're not limited to Beirut, so people living in Abu Dhabi, in Brazil, they can reach you, right? They can reach you online. You can do an online class and something. So I highly recommend people. I mean, John's a great guy, as you can see. I would recommend so many people, because man, you can't imagine how many questions I've gotten about like certain issues and pains, and I can't get into them on a podcast. It would turn into a consultation. I recommend these people to reach you on level 8's page on Instagram first, or
Yes.
okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
then you guys can go from there and figure it out.
Thank you. I wasn't really with the whole online thing, but this thing made us, and I never thought that you can actually transfer the information properly online.
Okay.
At least what we do. But then once we started with this, and 2 weeks of quarantine became 2 months.
Yep.
We eventually had to adapt, and it's been working out pretty good. I'm training a few people online, and it's going really, really well.
So you're finding, obviously you can't physically manipulate them, but you're finding the ability to sort of point out what their problems are, what their pains are. It's possible online.
Yeah, they do it themselves, so they get the tools and stuff.
Nice.
And like I tell them, okay, so sit down, release this, release that, whatever it is. Sometimes we need to use more than one phone, so I need to see more than one angle when they're doing a movement. So I see the front and the side, or the front and the back, whatever it is. And
So
it's
cool.
it's pretty good. Most people have a phone and an iPad, or a phone and a computer, and so it makes it a little bit easy for us. We tap into Zoom. I see 2 different angles.
Okay.
And it's been working out okay, man. It's been working out okay.
I'm gonna link up with you, man. Next week we're gonna have a session, maybe to get me started until I come to Beirut, for sure.
You got it,
Habibi,
you got it,
Habibi.
man.
I appreciate you so much, man. It has been a blast. I can't believe how quickly it feels like this went, and I can talk to you for a day, bro. And I'm coming to Beirut to do that. But
you're more than welcome.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Everybody on YouTube, everybody listening to us live, I hope you guys got a lot of it. I saw the comments. Thank you so much for the engagement. Show John some love. Go check him out if you want to find out some more details about what he does. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Signing off of YouTube. Much love, people.